Have you ever wanted to discover what's missing in your life? Metaphysics is available to all and is part of your life even if you don't know it. Welcome to Metaphysics, a view through the veil with Barb Crowley. Together we'll explore the mysteries behind metaphysics and how to use it to have a deeper understanding and advantage in life. And now here's your host, Barb Crowley.
Hi, this is Barb Crowley, and welcome to Metaphysics, a view through the veil. Today we're talking to Fotoula Adrimi. Did I get it?
Yes.
Good.
Well done, Barb. Yes.
Good. She is a partner in the ISIS School of Holistic Health, a school of healing, art, spiritual development, and inner transformation, which is located in Glasgow, right?
That's
Glasgow,
right.
Scotland, yeah. The school teaches the path of the living light, the spirituality of the golden times of ancient Egypt. And this is what we're going to talk about today. She has just written a book, Sacred Mysticism of Egypt, Walking the Path of Spiritual Awakening Beyond Time. So, Fotoula, welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, Barb, and thank you to everybody listening.
Thanks. So we talked a little bit before the show on how did you end up in Glasgow, Scotland, from Greece, but you're really from Greece, not from Egypt.
I am from Greece, yes,
Yeah.
which is just across from Egypt. Actually, if you go south from Greece and you cross the Aegean and you cross the sea, you will find yourself in Egypt.
Yeah.
And Egypt and Greece, since ancient times, we have some very close connections.
Mm-hmm.
And our cultures, our spiritual traditions supported each other. But my heart, since I was a child, was in Egypt. I just felt that I couldn't be born in Egypt. I think my spirit said, no, you can't go and be born in Egypt because the society there right now is so restricted and so restrictive. You can't do spiritual work there in the same way if you are a woman, doing that kind of work is very difficult. And in Greece, I could do this work. I could travel. I could share it, and I could have the liberties of a Western woman who wants to follow a spiritual path, which is not straightforward.
Mm-hmm. And it's the energy, though. We talked a little bit more about I'm bouncing in and out about the energy in Egypt and in Greece. And I talked about having looked at the energy of Greece before we came on, but is the energy the same, Greece and Egypt, or is it different?
It's very different. Well, my experience is very different.
Yeah.
Because actually, although there are temples of the Egyptian deities, Isis and Serapis Bey and other Egyptian temples in Greece from the 5th century BC, actually I connect to a much older time that I had past lives in Egypt.
I wondered about that. Did you have past lives here? And this is the connection. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me about them, the past lives.
So basically, the first life I incarnated in Egypt was actually what we call the golden times of Egypt, which was when the Egyptians started building the pyramids, and in the Egyptian texts, they call this time Zep Tepi, which means the first time. And the Egyptians said that there was a time in their past where the human people, the humanity, had such incredible gifts. We were all clairvoyant. We were all psychic. We were all, if you like, shamans. We were all healers. We could heal ourselves. We had incredible technology. We didn't need fossil fuels. The technology was coming through the energy, the life force energy of the universe. It was really coming what we call thin air. We could work with the energy, the etheric energy, to build these amazing monuments.
Was there a lot of aliens then?
Well, I felt
active in the society. It looks, you look at the hieroglyphics and it's like, wait a minute,
Well, what
Yeah.
I feel is that the people were very aware that we had come on the earth from other
Dimensions.
other
Yeah.
dimensions. They were aware, they knew, they hadn't forgotten that our origin is from different places in the universe, and that we have all come together on the earth to
Mhm.
try and be together and share our gifts and knowledge, because we're all different, we're all unique, and from wherever we came from, we brought the gifts of that place here to the earth to share. So they lived very much from their heart. They were very much in their heart and in their power as well. And what I feel from that first time is that people communicated with
Mhm.
the places they came from. So they actively did that. They communicated with the Pleiades, with the Sirius star, which is very important in Egypt because it is the place where they connect with the goddess Isis, the Orion belt. They connect there with Osiris and the portal of death. And so they connect with all these different star systems.
Mhm.
And this is something that is active. It's not just a theory. It is very much part of the way they are in this first time, this initial time where humanity is so connected to the cosmos. And when they build Egypt and they build the pyramids and they build the temples and they build them all to a plan, it's not something that it just, we'll just thought, oh, I'll just put the temple here. Oh, we'll just
Right.
make the
It was very
necropolis there.
deliberate. Yeah.
It is very deliberate.
Mhm.
And they want to create heaven on earth, because
Yeah.
they want to create Egypt as a place where we will continue to remember our origin, and that we are beings of light. And this is their message from thousands of years. And they say to us, we construct these places for the children of the future. And they have written that down in the
What
pyramid.
happened to us though? What broke the links? What happened? It looks like we've gotten dumber, you know, from that period. And actually, I've wondered if we were somebody else's AI, that robots and that we were created, but that bacteria took over and the ancients just went away. Just figured out failed experiment.
Well, I think that there is this, this experiment. This word is being used by the spirits I work with. They call it the Earth School or the Earth Experiment,
Mhm.
and and they say that this Earth School is a very tough school. It's for advanced souls.
That's what I think. We're the PhD level.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And no, there's no young soul here. There's none. They couldn't have made it here. They couldn't have
Yeah.
built a body, done set it up to be here. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
my belief too. Yeah.
It's no kindergarten. It's really a tough place of a lot of growth, and a lot of growth has come in this period we're going through. We are going through this era that the ancient Egyptians prophesied, and they said there will come a time that they said the gods will be angry and will leave Egypt. That's how they described it in the text. They said there will come a time of corruption. And they said that corruption will come because humanity will break the law of Maat, or the rule of Maat, which means divine truth, justice, and basically truth and justice. And you will have the lie, the big lie, the corruption that we
Right.
see everywhere in our world. But so they said we will be going through this time, but this time is a very rich time of growth too, as well as destruction, because we're going through so much suffering. So we are realizing, we can't keep going like that. We
Mhm.
have to find another way. So we're starting waking up, and there is a lot of spiritual awakening and a lot of light right now too. That
But a
is
lot,
so
lot
much
of darkness too. There's a
and a
lot of
lot of
darkness.
darkness,
Yeah.
a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
And we see it now. Before it was hidden, it was
Mhm.
there. this time, they called it this time of Set, and Set is the one who kills his good brother Osiris. So there are two brothers, twin brothers. One is the good brother, and the other one is the one who is jealous, and he kills his brother because he wants what his brother has. So we have this kind of primordial separation. The story of the two brothers is in so many traditions, even in the Bible. So we have this story of brother killing brother, and we are seeing it everywhere. Still, that karma is there. So we are starting to wake up to find out that we are actually one with everything, and one with that person who is acting like that. So how can we transform ourselves to start transform the world around us by healing that primordial separation? And the ancient Egyptians talked about this time that we will move into, and they said it's the time of Horus. And the time
of what? Horus?
Horus, yes. So Horus is the spiritual warrior who has to reclaim his power, because his crown, and they mean the crown chakra here, his crown is being taken over by Set. So he is not even able to think for himself. Like so many of us, we have all these thoughts, ideas from the outside. What is actually our own thoughts? Sometimes
Right.
we wonder. So he's reclaiming his sovereignty. And that is in all levels. It's not just, the throne of Egypt. Is actually his own sovereignty beyond, in every dimension. Because when he reclaims sovereignty, he becomes enlightened, and he says, I'm like the sun rising in the east. I'm so bright. I'm one with everything. The Venus is my sister, and it's a very beautiful text. So he says, I'm one with everything. And
So
that's
will
awakening.
this part win? Because we're in a darkness now worldwide, and we've got dark and light. And it is like the epic battle, it seems like. And it seems like darkness is winning. I hate to say it.
Yeah,
But it
yes,
does seem like that. I mean, I'm looking at the United States now, and it's, greed is taken over.
yeah,
And
everywhere, everywhere.
yeah. And it looks to me like there are 4 greedy white guys in the world that are just destroying everything else. So what did they say about this period? How long will it last? And will the light take over?
Yeah, they said basically that this period is going to last until 3 things happen. And there are these signs in the text that tell us about these things. The first thing they said is, in Egypt, the papyrus plant will come back, and papyrus symbolizes knowledge. So it's the knowledge about all the spiritual knowledge that people start to read, want to find out what is the mystery schools, what is the esoteric knowledge.
Mhm.
There's something deeper. What are the ancient texts? So papyrus is about knowledge. But then the next thing that they're looking at is the ibis bird returning. The ibis bird has returned as well. And the ibis bird is about wisdom. And wisdom is one step more than knowledge. This is like really the wisdom that is birthed from within us. Not how many books we've read, but the truths that we have realized within ourselves. They are birthed from within. And that is the wisdom. But the third thing is still not there. So
I'm not sure if the wisdom's here, to be honest. I don't know
yes,
that we made it there. I feel like we're still in the awakening.
we are very much still in the awakening, but also there are so many people waking up and looking for something deeper. Some
Mhm.
people wake up and they think, okay, it's about, I want to see the spirits and I want to be psychic and there's more. So, but that is like a first level, the psychic awareness. The second level, that if people want to go deeper, is, I want to awaken into the luminosity of my soul. I'm not so much interested anymore in just the paranormal, but I'm more interested in the luminosity of my soul. So I'm going to do the spiritual practice, whatever that is for everyone. What is my path? I'm going to try and find it and bring it into my life and make my life a ceremony. As one of my teachers used to say, a Native American teacher used to say, make your life a ceremony. So this is the next step. And the third step, which, yes, is not there yet. And they said would be when the lotus flower will return to Egypt. And it's not there yet. It's not.
Okay, dumb question. Where did it go?
Well, it pretty much disappeared almost completely from the Nile. And they had two types of lotus flower, and the blue and the white. The blue, it opens with the sun, and the white opens with the moon. So the lotus flower, especially the white lotus, is about unconditional love. Now, we are quite far from that still. Even as spiritual practitioners, we are, we are far from it. We are working on our stuff. We are opening our heart. There's always the ego there pulling our the strings, but we are trying to dive deep into the heart space and embrace everything, embrace ourselves, embrace the world around us, and offer that gift of love to everybody. So unconditional love is the third one, and that is when these three signs come to Egypt. The ancient Egyptians said that we will be moving into that era of Horus, because Horus is the spiritual warrior who is also in a battle with himself. I mean, Set is just a mirror for him, and he has to overcome the corruption. He has to overcome his fears. He has to fight for his mind, for his crown, and for all of that, and in order to awaken. So it is a difficult era, these changing times. We are in these changing times where this battle is taking place, both within us and out in the world, and I think in the etheric level. I think there is a bigger battle taking place in the etheric level as well.
I do believe that too. I believe the vibration is not only changing here, but up through all of the dimensions. I mean, it's almost like all dimensions are being lifted. It seems like to me anyway, that it's not only here. And we're not even ground zero.
Yes.
We're being impacted by this all dimension, all world vibrational change, vibrational uplifting. We just, yeah. And to me, that was part of the pandemic, that was a result of these two vibrations coming together. But it goes on all through the universes. But did it say how long it'll take? And does it say that we're going to win? The light will win. Is there a guarantee?
Well, I don't know if this is a guarantee, but the previous world was destroyed. In ancient Egypt, they said basically the world was destroyed. Sekhmet, the destroyer, came out, and basically there was so much destruction, that there was so much loss of life. That world was really, really lost, and then the Sekhmet is still there as the destroyer, but in this phase, she turns into the healer. So the destroyer becomes the healer. So instead of destroying the world, her role now is to heal the world. So I feel that this is something that the energy has changed, and is I think why so many people incarnate and they're interested in the healing arts. They want to do healing work, and they maybe want to do even holistic healing work. And the reason for that is that according to my helping spirit, who is the goddess Isis, she said to me that you may see somebody suffering from a physical illness, but they may still be in touch with their spirit, and that will help them so much overcome, or even be able to live with that physical illness. They are still better than somebody who is suffering from a mental illness, where they feel lost, they feel completely disconnected, they are not able to connect with their light, and they're not able to connect with their spirit, and they might be suffering a lot more. So there are so many people doing holistic healing, looking together body and mind, or helping people really get connected again with the energy work. And I think this is because we need to heal this world now, heal ourselves and the world around us, rather than go through the period of destruction, which was before, that world was completely gone, and we had to start all over again.
Right.
So the message is that this time we have to transform the world. We have to transform ourselves and the world to this higher plane that we are able to do, and not to be afraid of the darkness. It is just something that we have created. The karma of the previous destruction is so heavy and is manifesting, and we have to find a different way. And I think it is happening, but it's happening from the grassroots. It's
Right.
happening
From the ground up. Yeah.
from the ground, from everyday people. It's not happening up at the top, where the corruption still reigns.
It
So
seems like the corruption is organized and the grassroots, the spiritual, is fractured. That's what it seems like, that we're not organized. We're not we're fractured. We're pieces, lots of pieces. But
yes,
yeah, not together. But you know
yes,
what? I want to go backwards a little bit. And
yes.
and where did you um, end up getting this information on Egypt and starting your school? So yeah, right in the middle of this, I'm bringing you backwards to your source of where's this information coming from and how did you link in?
Yes, so when I was a child, I was very attracted to Egypt, and I used to visit in my mind, visit Egypt and the temples, and I was just had this hunger for that land. But then after a while, when I became a teenager, I focused on other things, very much became grounded and had to go through university, and then I lived very much a conventional life until I was 30. When I became 30, everything came back as if the doors opened, and I started to remember, and I just knew things were true. What I was seeing was true. I couldn't doubt it. It was just so much.
A reality. Yeah.
It was my reality. And then I started remembering in 2006, Goddess Isis came to me. She asked me if I would be her teacher. And of course, I said yes, not knowing what that involved.
Right.
That involved, I haven't stopped working since I said that yes. And that involved a huge amount of work. I have, she gave me the knowledge, this system of spiritual awakening, which she called the 7 gates of awareness. And she started giving me this, and I have folders and folders and folders of this work.
What are the 7 gates?
So the 7 gates are energy fields that we have within us, like divine love, divine power.
Is it like the 7 layers of your aura, like that? Or no?
No.
Okay.
But actually, the she links the chakras and the upper chakras to the energy body, but the energy bodies and the layers of the aura. But the seven gates, these energy fields exist. It says they exist in all dimensions. They exist in the heart of the creation, and they exist within your body too. And when you access them, these energies, if you think like divine love, it's just flows into you and flows into your life, and you start becoming that. When we work with that particular gate, people sometimes said, I don't know why, it never happened before, but I saw this baby and I burst into tears because I felt so much love. But I was just thinking, what am I doing? Why is that happening to me? And it is like having that experience.
Mhm.
And the end, she says, the end of this path is the reuniting with your divine self. So she basically brings that ancient wisdom that we had in Egypt at the time, that I remember, that from my past lives, back now. And it's really a journey of remembering for me. So what happened?
And you've opened your school.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So when she started giving me all this in 2006, and then I had much less than what the information I have now. People, she said, you should start teaching now. And I was just very, thinking, how can I do that? I don't know about all this.
Mhm.
And I was very, very doubting myself, very insecure
Right.
about it. So for that first year, people had dreams about me and Isis, and then they started to find me. Somebody, were just like having a dream. Isis telling them, "You need to work with me. This is the path for you that you did in previous lives,
Mhm.
and you need to find this woman. This woman will teach you." And people were finding me like that,
And
and.
so ISIS kind of went back to some of the original people from Egypt, from that period of time to reawaken them and bring them.
I feel that for that first year, it was people definitely who had the connection, a very big connection,
Mhm.
and they had dreams, or they didn't know. It was just like synchronicities. They met me, and then they asked me, "Do you work with Isis? I just have a feeling to ask you this," and these people were like coming together, so I could overcome my insecurity. I
Right, right.
overcome the doubt, and I could start teaching these people. And then Isis said, you need to organize yourself. You need to get insurance. You need to get all the things that you need to get so people can have a certificate, can practice this work, can walk the path. And so I did all that thinking nobody on earth will agree to certify this system. No insurance company will take it on, but everybody did. It was
Yeah.
like all fell into place, and
Was it
incredible.
a memory to them? Something they knew deep inside that you kind of brought out, you verbalized, you reminded them?
In some cases, yes, not in every case.
Mhm.
It depends. Well, what Isis has said is that this path meets us from lifetime to lifetime. She said these ancient mysteries is a very, very old teaching. It goes even beyond Egypt. She said it goes to Atlantis. It goes further back. She says this is the path, the spiritual path that I met in Egypt. So I teach it in the way that I remember it from Egypt.
Mhm.
But she said we will find that she will find us again from lifetime to lifetime. So we continue to walk our path as long as we wish. It's always an invitation. There's nothing, never anything forced or you must or mustn't. It's just always up to us. But she invites us and says, do you wish to step onto that path again? So for some people, it's a memory. For other people, they said, I don't feel I have any connection. But as they go on, they start to feel a deeper connection because it's a connection with the light. It's so beautiful.
So
It's
they
so
may not have been in Egypt, but they have had a spiritual journey. And all
yeah,
spiritual journeys are basically the same, even though you might have different words or different teachers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. It's very beautiful. It's a very high vibration. It's a very strong energy. It really is, and if somebody feels the calling, yeah, it's wonderful.
Hmm.
And, but it does require, well, it invites us, if you like, that we need to make some changes in our life. So for example, for me, when I started working with the system, I soon had to make some changes in my own life. The spirit said, we don't want you watching TV anymore. I thought, oh.
Oh, that would be a heartbreak for me.
It's
Why
not.
not? Is there an electronic problem or,
Yeah, yeah, basically they said what happened to me, and it might not be the same for other people. They said, when you are watching television, you are absorbing things, within your system, and some of the energies of the television are not great. They
Mhm.
can be really heavy. They can be
Is that
dark.
the information, not electronic energy, but the information coming in?
Well, it is I think everything is energy. So it's the information has energy as well. So you're watching maybe something, the news, and you,
Right.
after you watch that, you feel like the fear, the anxiety, you're out of your
You're
center.
going to a lower vibration,
Yeah, yeah,
basically. Yeah.
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 So they wanted the television out of the house. So I gave up the TV. I gave up
Yeah.
drinking. I don't drink any alcohol for now for many years. Not that I was a big drinker, but
Hmm.
it was like something that yeah, also lowers the vibration.
Right.
For
And
some
what
people.
else did they ask you to do?
They asked me to do spiritual practice, which was, so this system is based on spiritual practice, ritual, ceremony, meditation, sometimes movement, and very much, becoming much more aware of yourself. So Isis holds a mirror, and when I am in the sacred space, I can really see my life. It's also,
Hmm.
she says, when you die, your spirit looks back towards your life with no judgment. There's never any
Right.
judgment.
Right.
But you see how in these
What worked?
circumstances, what
Yeah.
you did, what worked,
Hmm.
how you reacted to different situations, or how you decided to act, whether you made wise choices or difficult choices. But there's never any judgment. But for me, that is happening almost like organically, because Isis holds a mirror for me and says, look, this, what do you think of your life? What do you think of this? And then you say, okay, there are some things I need to readjust. You just feel it. You're
Right.
I'm so much more aware, so much more aware. You just know right from, if it's
Mhm.
like right from wrong. It's not really that or skillful or not skillful,
Well, yeah. What
but
vibration is yours
yeah,
and what
what
is
is,
not? Yeah.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
what serves you. I think that's better way to say what serves you, what doesn't serve you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So when you have people come in, you teach them the gates. This you start with the first, which is unconditional love, which isn't that like the biggest? Isn't that the biggest one? Unconditional
So
love, that's hard.
yeah, yeah, it is actually, it's the second gate, but the first gate is about the power of creation. So it's really starting to become aware of your luminosity, and the practices of the first gate are really to support you to build your energy body, so you can be a vessel for the light, because this energy is very strong. So sometimes in our body, due to everyday life, we might have holes in our energy body or something draining us, etc. So this first gate is about building your
It's preparation.
body. Yeah.
You know, I wondered when you were speaking before, I thought how many people blew up, could not take the energy input, like a Kundalini rising, where, you know, some people, Kundalini rises and basically blows your mind. You know, there are a lot of people in institutions that just had a Kundalini rise that they couldn't handle. They're, you know, they weren't physically ready for it, you know.
That's so true, and that's so in the system. And the ancient Egyptians told us, they said, you know, it's you in the physical body. That's one part of you. Then the other one is your etheric self, what they call the ka, or the double. And they said that you need to focus to really heal your etheric body. So this preparation is very important, and it's energetic, spiritual, which is the spiritual practice, the energy work, but it's also in your everyday life. That rule of math is like truth and justice as much as you can in your everyday life, connection with the earth, nature, because nature is a higher vibration than the human consciousness at the moment.
Right.
I
Is it
think
ever reversed? Is it ever reversed?
I think at you know, it was the lockdown that made what happened. There was a huge leap during the lockdown.
Yeah.
In the lockdown, I felt that collectively maybe the human consciousness maybe dropped a bit, but the Earth's consciousness, because there weren't any humans around, grew so much. So nature,
Oh, yeah.
the vibration of nature was when it was just like so pure. When we went out after the lockdown, it was just like, oh, we are walking in pristine earth, in wonderful energy. And the
Right.
earth said, yeah, that was an evolutionary step for me when you guys were away. But if we use the time of the lockdown, some of us, and in my community, we decided we were all going to connect spiritually. We're going to, I was supporting the community by doing Zoom calls and meditation, spiritual practice and ritual, almost like 3-4 days a week. So we
Yeah.
were coming together, and everybody had the time because we were all at home. We didn't have to
We're all
travel.
locked in. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
all locked in. But that really got us through. And not only that, people were saying, we never have time for spiritual practice. Don't tell us to meditate. Don't tell us to you know, do a ritual. It's just
Yeah.
like, I have other things to do. I travel to work. I do all this. But now there was nothing. So we actually did it. And I felt for some of us, this lockdown was a godsend, because finally we could come together and we
Right.
could grow as a community. So it depends how we use whatever is there. You know, is like, yes, there are difficult circumstances, but sometimes we can change them to work for us, even if it's something hard.
I kind of do think the lockdown, we were going so fast before that and so crazy. And then it was almost like the rest that everybody needed. But we're speeding up again.
Yes,
Unfortunately, we're
yes,
speeding up again.
yes,
But
yes.
yeah. So tell me about some of the other gates.
So the other gates are taking us into very much a personal journey. Then we have to look at what we need to cleanse, what we need to purify. We have to look at the fears we're carrying, and then we have to look at how we can empower ourselves, and then what really feeds us and regenerates us and help us grow, and then how can we become co-creators or conscious co-creators. So there's very much a path going through these different energy field, but the two pillars, you know, that the foundation is the power, divine power, which is the first gate, and the other one divine love, and they both have to be there together, because if we have power but not unconditional love, then
Right.
is using the power. And if we just have love, we love everybody, but I'm not in my power, that's not good either. So that doesn't serve either. So we need both to come together. There's a beautiful in Karnak Temple, there's a beautiful place there. It's like outside of the main temple, at the back. Is called the Chapel of Osiris, and in that they have the tree of life. And on the tree of life, there are the two pillars, the two ankhs. Ankhs is like the key of life. People know it as that. It basically means eternal life. So these two. And then you have the other five gates. So you have the two first, the
Two
love,
pillars, the
power,
foundation.
to the
Yeah.
foundation, and then everything else can be built on that. And then on the other side, as you go into this chapel, you actually have 7 gates, one inside the other. And then it's a beautiful place that they build, that they demonstrate that in Karnak Temple. So I was remembering all that, and I've been remembering for many years. And how I remember it is that it just comes out. I channel it. Goddess Isis, or Iset is her Egyptian name, comes and gives me what it is, and then I write it down, and it's as if I knew it all of my life.
Right.
If you asked me before,
that's what I mean about the memory. Yeah.
Yeah. If you asked me before I tell me about the 7 gates, have you heard about the 7 gates? I would say, no, I know nothing about this. And as soon as he gives me that, I know so much about it that I'm learning from listening to myself speaking about it.
So you're your own audience. And
Yes,
so
yes.
you're channeling quite a bit then.
I am channeling. Yes, I
Yeah.
am channeling. Yeah.
The living light, is that the 2 pillars?
The living light is the energy, is a name for the energy. What it means is basically that that you become this human being who is the enlightened being in a body. So you become what they call Sahu, the shining spirit, but you are enlightened, living on the earth, not in some spiritual dimension out there. You are here on the earth, living. You are the light that is manifested in physical form. So that is the living light, and is the energy. And they talk about the portals of energy. One in the Sirius star, that's about awareness, to help us increase in our awareness, and it's identified with Isis. And the one in the Orion constellation, which is to do with Osiris and the process that we go through when we die in the spiritual realms.
Wow. And you talk about the creation story too, right? From spirit to matter to and back. So you're telling me the back part, not the creation part, but how do we get back? Yeah.
Yeah, very much. So they have these myths and beautiful myths and stories about how we came from spirit, we came from pure consciousness. The lake, the peaceful lake of enlightenment that the Buddhists call, that lake of enlightenment, they call it the void. So we talk about the void, and how from that pure consciousness energy manifests, and energy first creates the lotus of unconditional love, the primordial lotus. And so it means we're all created out of this unconditional love. And then they talk about the human being that is so bright and so shining, and that we are like the shining spirit, especially when we are children. So the myth is beautiful. Is showing this kind of lake, which is this void, and out of this the lotus, and on top sits a human baby sucking his thumb, but above him is in his crown is the sun of creation, saying, "You are this Ra. You are the shining one."
Hmm.
And when you are a baby, if we look in the eyes of young babies, you can see the spirit there. You
Yeah.
can see that brightness. And then, of course, we lose our way. So we are finding our way back to that spirit that we are inside, that
Hmm.
we are within. So one of the ways they did that in the ancient times was they said that if you go through the gate of death, when you die, you reunite with your spirit, but you don't have to wait until you die. So they had the mysteries of Osiris, the death mysteries, where they connected with the spirit as if they were dying. And what happens to people who have near death experiences, they come back different.
Oh, they
So
do. Yeah.
yeah, very much so. So it was they knew that if we can connect with the pure spirit when we go through what happens to the other side, and that's why death was so important. But it was the mysteries that they were reenacting, so that they could become that, as if they had a near death experience, they could become that shining spirit
Hmm.
while living.
Yeah. So, there are, and a lot of them Buddhists, but there are a number of people that while living, while in a body, renounced the world and tried to go to the spirit. And I've always thought, well, that's kind of crazy. Why did you take a body? Why did you come here? If you're going to remove yourself from the experience to not be here. Does that make sense?
Yes, it definitely makes sense. And I think, Barb, I think that was one of the paths also, renunciation, as they say,
Hmm.
uh, in ancient Egypt too. So for some years, people, could go in the desert. There were hermitages in the desert. They could live there,
Right.
or they would maybe don't want to have a partner. They would be maybe a priest or a priestess, but for some years it wasn't a celibate life, but for some years you had
Hmm.
to be in your own energy. So to basically, have that time without distractions, to understand yourself and work on yourself, instead of having a family who, or
Right.
other
Coming
so
out into the world. Yeah.
yeah, other priorities. So that part was there for some years, and then they said, well, right, okay, you got that, now you have to practice it in the world. So you
Hmm.
can be unconditional love if you're sitting in a temple with all the flowers and everything,
Right. Right.
and the incense burning, and you are meditating, and somebody else is doing everything for you. But what if you had a crying baby in the middle of the night? Can you be
Hmm.
unconditional love
Yeah.
there?
It's
Or
like, glonk, here you are,
yeah,
reality. Yeah.
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 So you had to go back after that time. You had to go back and say, now you are the living light in the world, in the community. That's where the test is. Can
Hmm.
you keep that high vibration when the diamond is being grinded by life? Can you hold that space? And if you can't, that's okay. You need to practice more. You are still on the
Hmm.
path. It's showing you something. You haven't finished. You're not just enlightened guru somewhere on top of a mountain. You're here in everyday life with a community, and you have to, keep that high vibrational state and work on yourself. If there's something that triggers you, there's more work to be done, and the world is a great mirror.
Hmm. Wow. That's a good explanation. I always wondered about that. Well, what's that purpose? Why'd you come? Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Do you have people that start this and just, as I was talking about Kundalini, rising or blowing, really. Do you have people that come to you and you realize this is going to blow them up? They're not at a vibrational level that they can handle this, really.
Yeah, I'm very careful because this is really important and safety comes first.
Hmm.
And the thing is, unfortunately, some people might say, well, I feel ready. Why do you say no? I feel ready, but I have to be responsible.
Right.
And in the beginning, the first gate especially is really important because it helps you step by step and is very respectful. The energy is very respectful and meets you where you are. So the same practice, somebody could do it, now who is a beginner and they will feel it in some way. And then I will do it and I will feel something really different, the same
Hmm.
practice, but it meets us where we are. But I have been practicing for a lot of years.
Right.
So it's the same thing, so sometimes people go and say, oh, this is an amazing practice and it's only from the first gate, but it's because you have done so much work already and it meets you exactly where you are. And that is because this light is intelligent. It's divine consciousness. It's divine consciousness in the form of energy. So it can see us so clearly. And
Mhm.
it is when people are misusing the energy that they get in trouble. I think with the system, it is so respectful and takes people step by step and says to people, look, in order for you, it's not about going through the 7 gates as quickly as you can. That's not the purpose. It's the journey that takes you there. And
Mhm.
it doesn't matter how long it takes because there's no time for this.
Yeah.
It's your growth, it's our growth, and there's no time. We just walk in our own pace, the pace that we is comfortable.
Hmm.
So yeah, not blowing ourselves, with too much energy.
Right. Blowing up. Yeah.
Going up, yeah.
Yeah.
Having, taking this in a very safe way, and at the same time, when people practice, they start to feel these very expansive states. Is
Hmm.
wonderful. But if people don't practice, well, sometimes some people have a natural talent. You could say they have done a lot of work in other lifetimes.
Right. They've
I
been
was one.
trained, what I call you've been trained.
You've
Yeah.
been trained. I've been
Yeah.
trained, and I was a bit lazy in the beginning. And I thought, oh, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I
Yeah.
don't need to practice. And Isis said, no, you need to practice.
Hmm.
You really need to practice this work.
Yeah.
And everybody grows. I grow. We all grow. You
Hmm.
know, it's wonderful. So yeah.
Do your students open you up to the next level as well? Does it look like that?
Yes, I am very grateful to my students. I'm very, very grateful to my students because we all learn from each other. And
Hmm.
I see some people, I so respect the people, the effort they make to walk a spiritual path. It's not easy. It requires sometimes a lot of sacrifice in time,
Getting rid
resources,
of your TV.
get rid of your TV,
Yeah.
and also overcoming the ego, because the ego is like where a lot of people get stuck. Sometimes
Well,
people,
as you take a body, you take an ego. I mean,
you
you
do.
almost can't be here without an ego. It's part of being human, I
It
would
is.
think.
Yeah, and they called it the kaibit, the personality, if you like, our
Hmm.
personality. And this personality, sometimes we act it out. So when I say the ego is like, the hurt part of ourselves. So coming
Right.
back to Gates, somebody could say, well, I feel, I would love to go and, to move on. I'm not ready. I agree,
Hmm.
I'm not ready, etc. But it would make me feel so good because I would feel like I've grown up. But
Right.
what
Let
are
me
you
drop,
doing then?
yeah, let me
Yes,
drop this anchor.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
holding me down so I can move on. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then you know, you can see that this is something not coming from a good place when
Hmm.
somebody says that.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
They want to get away,
yeah,
from the
yeah,
pain. It's like, oh, yeah, remove the pain.
yeah.
The enlightened ones, are they like ISIS and or are they different?
They are different. You know, these beings, what they have shown me is they are basically outside duality. So on the earth, we have the dual state, you
Right.
know, good or bad, you know, and we manifest both in our lives and within ourselves. You know, we all have these traits, but they exist outside duality. So they are in like the perfect luminous state, completely awakened, aware beings. And I only work with beings like that. I don't
Hmm.
work with beings of lower vibrational states. I only work with those beings that are enlightened, because otherwise beings want something from you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And a lot of lower level, like chaos. And that's where you can see the world now is a lot of
yeah,
lower level. They love chaos. They love throwing everything in the blender almost. Yeah.
yeah.
And they can survive in chaos because you can't see them.
Mhm.
It's hard to see them. So that's why they like chaos. They can hide in it. But yeah, I've noticed that. What are the etheric keys in sacred sites?
Yes, so what I have seen is that if you go to some of the sites, and you will see there are walls, like for example, if you go to the pyramids or some other sites, there
Hmm.
are walls there that they don't have any hieroglyphics, anything, and no images.
Right.
But the energy, when these spaces open up, the energy is like luminous coming to you. And what they're saying is like, imagine for example that these places, these etheric sites, hold the information, and some
Mhm.
part of you has the key to access that information, a bit like, you know, you have a computer, but you have to have like the
The
key to
password.
password. You
Yeah.
know, you are carrying the password. If your vibration matches that place and you sit there, you meditate, you will start to get, you know, the energy flowing through. This energy is also knowledge.
Hmm.
So after a while, this knowledge will start coming to you, and you will start knowing things that you didn't know before.
Right.
So one thing, and Egypt is a great place for that. The standing stones, some of the standing stones in Scotland and the UK, maybe in Ireland too, but I haven't been in Ireland, so I can't speak for Ireland.
Hmm.
But it might be well be the same. But my experience is that these standing stones are also etheric, you know, sites that hold that knowledge that
Hmm.
you can tap into if you have the right password, as you said,
Right.
the right the
Now, what
vibration of the
is
password.
that? I'm sorry, go ahead.
And so what happens in that site, the first thing that people can feel is a sense of deep peace, like their mind that's usually full of thoughts, etc.,
Hmm.
becomes very calm. They start
Yeah.
becoming very calm, very relaxed, and that's because of the energy. So then you have the transfer of energy. And then at some point, if the person is in the you know, it could happen there, or it could happen after they left Egypt when they came back.
Hmm.
What can happen is that they may have gifts that they didn't know they had, but they start manifesting.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So it
so
opens them up again too.
yeah, yeah, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't know, for example, they didn't know they could do certain things, but they start doing them. Nobody taught them,
Hmm.
but they say, I have no idea, but this is what I'm doing, and this happened since I've been to that site, or I've been to Egypt, or something. I had this spiritual experience. That is when this knowledge is coming out.
Right.
Uh, one
These
of
downloads go on. Yeah.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. in one of the pilgrimages that I took some people to Egypt in 2011, and 2010 was the first pilgrimage. But 2011, one of the people there, what happened to them was they never knew they could have, you know, their voice was basically closed. The throat chakra was closed. And in Egypt, they just started chanting away and completely, they said, this voice is coming through them. It says, it's not my own voice. I have no idea where it's coming from, but just like through the power of voice, that is their healing gift. So, and then since then, they've been working with the power of voice. That's how they do healing work. So,
And where's that person now? Have you kept in touch? Because that was
yes,
2011, right?
yes,
Yeah.
I have kept in touch. I have kept in touch with them, and they are, you know, every time, and sometimes go to them for a healing session because I need that and I love that as much as everybody else. So, and they chant all the time during the healing session.
Yeah,
And
they still use the voice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So they do their energy work, but they always, and they say, this is what I do. I just chant throughout the session because that's how I do the healing work. And it's lovely. So yeah, yeah,
So when if you have a number of different people in that situation, they are going to get what's for them. It's
yeah.
not everybody's getting the same thing. It's what's for
No,
them.
no.
Yeah.
We're all
And what their key opens up. Yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Because we are all unique. And that is the beautiful thing. Sometimes we think, oh, I wish I had that gift, or I wish I could be clairvoyant, but I'm
Oh
not.
yeah. Yeah.
I wish I could be this. I wish I could do that. And then we don't see the gifts that we have. And the gifts that we have sometimes are so beautiful. But we are focusing on the other person because that's how our conditioning, that's
Right.
how the schooling system, how we grew up. It's always, you know, that I need what the other person has. They must be right and I must be
Well, we
wrong.
don't know. That's why, I'm not so big on manifestation because it keeps our world little because we can't manifest what we don't know or
Yes.
we've not gotten to knowledge to know about yet. So it keeps our world little, you know.
Yeah.
And I find that really until you get older and you can look backwards, you really have no idea what's going on here. You're not driving the train, you're just on it. Yeah.
That's absolutely, that's so true.
Hmm.
And my whole perspective on life changed when, you know, I started waking up, and things that were important before, you know, were not important anymore.
Right.
But one thing that is like when you step on your path and you find exactly what your, you know, your soul has come here to do, you find life so beautiful that
Hmm.
you don't care about all these other things that are useful. Material things are useful too, and you
Yeah.
need them to, you know, you need to have a roof over your head and everything
Hmm.
else.
You still have a physical body. Yeah.
You still have the
Yeah.
physical body, but everything else you maybe wanted are not important anymore because you are on your path and
Hmm.
it's your soul speaking to you. And that is so beautiful. And I wish for everything, everybody, if I could have a wish for everybody, is to step on the path of your soul. And then you find true happiness because you are doing what you're meant to be doing.
Right.
It's a
You're in
journey.
sync.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're insane. Sometimes it's a journey to find what you're meant to be doing because
Hmm.
we don't always know. We
A
have
lot
been,
of people are lost. A
yeah,
lot of people are ungrounded and they're lost and they have no idea. They see, and I am more in this time period than I think most times. And I don't know if they got popped out by the dark energy. I'm not quite sure why everybody's so lost, now. But and it's an in between, it's a transition period where the old religions have gone away. We've outgrown them. And maybe the new information isn't here yet. But yeah, it seems like so many of them are lost. Um, in this initiation, as you call it, is that atom initiate?
Atum. Oh,
Atum, yeah.
okay. So the initiation, Atum really is not about the initiation. Atum is a word that basically signifies, you could say, the creator is one word for Atum, and that is that central sun. We believe in the middle of the cosmos there is the point of creation, out of which, out of the void, this energy comes that creates the physical and spiritual universes. That is a tomb.
Okay.
So there is a huge teaching about the tomb. But the initiation, what happens in the initiation is, first you meet like a resistance within yourself. So it's like a big evolutionary step. So you're stepping into to raise your vibration, and of course you will think, yeah, everybody would want that, but the part of you that is like conditioned wants to keep you conditioned. So maybe there's a part of you that finds any excuse not to do the spiritual
Right,
work.
right. Yeah. It's
So
like exercise, everybody
yeah,
puts it
yes,
off, doesn't want to do it. We all
yes,
know we should, but
yes.
yeah.
So in the initiation, for my initiation happened through the Great Pyramid. So I had different ones over the years,
But
but
what happened? How did that happen?
so when I went to the Great Pyramid, there's a big story, but I went in 2006 in Egypt, and I go inside the pyramid and nobody else is there. So I start to walk.
That's
Very
unnatural right there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. The guard was outside, so he was just standing outside. He said, "There you go."
Yeah.
I give him the ticket. Nobody else there. Usually, it's full of people coming in and out. So I'm walking up, and it's quite claustrophobic, and I feel, even though with all the work and the spiritual work and the connection from the past life, I start to feel that, goodness, if I fall now, there is nobody here to pick me up. There's nobody to help me. There's no windows. There's not. So you feel this, and you start to feel the fear. All the Hollywood films, the Mommy and Mommy Returns and everything else was like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, where am
Fear
I?
comes into it. Yeah.
All this fear trying to stop me. That is the conditioning trying to stop me.
hmm
And I keep going, and you go to the king's chamber. You have to kneel, you have to go crouch in, and in there is the sarcophagus, and I just sit by the wall, and I'm trying to center myself. I'm trying to do my spiritual practice, to call
To calm
Isis
the
and everything,
fears. Yeah.
calm the fears.
Yeah.
And then some people come, some tourists come, and they just come look at the room, and I think, humans, I'm not alone, and they just leave. They just look and leave. And then after an hour passes, I think I better go, because I have a taxi waiting, and I thought I better go out of here. And then as I walk down the great gallery, I walk down, and I hear these sounds in my mind, and just spontaneously I start to chant what I'm hearing psychically, and the whole pyramid comes to life, and the energy comes from the bottom of my feet all the way around me, and I'm ecstatic. I'm not fearful anymore. I'm so happy. I'm just like in just this joy, and I just go down and keep chanting. Nobody's there. Nobody's there. And I'm going down, and then I'm just in this amazing state. And then I go and leave the pyramid, and afterwards Isis says to me, these are the sounds, what you chanted. These are the sounds that unlock the pyramid. The pyramid is sleeping most of the time. So if you go, some people go and think, I went to the Great Pyramid, I never felt anything. Because if you go as a tourist, or when the tourists are there, the place is sleeping, because it doesn't want to give people that, as you said, that Kundalini thing could be,
Mhm.
not what most tourists are accustomed to, anti-sleeping. But if you go there to do ceremony, and
Mhm.
I have been so lucky, thanks to my students and the people who come on pilgrimage, who were able to get some private time every time we go there. And thank you also to the Egyptian people who have allowed us to do this, because we go there, we chant the sounds that I heard, the
Mhm.
pyramid comes alive, and we have, all of us, an incredible experience
Wow.
that's happening every time. So it is an amazing place when we go there and do spiritual work. So that was my initiation. And then I sometimes see the same when people are like booking on the course, and they phone me the day before and they say, maybe this is too much for me. I don't know. I feel all this fear. I feel the doubt. And I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
that's your initiation. That is happening because you're going to step.
You're ready to pass through it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah. So you send them without you and then give them the sounds, or
No, no, in
or
the
they have to have their own key.
No, we all go together
You
in
do.
when we go
Yeah.
to the Great Pyramid. We all go together as a group,
Hmm.
so we all go, and I usually go and start chanting, and people go up the Great Gallery, and when they hear the chant, they know the chant because I have shared it with them,
Yeah.
but it's like they say, what was that beautiful song? That was just amazing. I said, that was the
Even though,
song.
yeah, it's a song you've been singing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is the sound that unlocks many places, but sacred sound, I'm so grateful, yeah,
Hmm.
for doing that.
Is this, and I might pronounce it wrong, Thoth? Thoth?
Thoth,
Thoth.
yes, yeah. So Thoth, the Egyptian name is Jehuti, but Thoth is how some of the names, the Greeks, when the Ptolemies conquered Egypt, they kind of, it was semi-conquering, because the Alexander the Great went there, and the Egyptians said, you have liberated us and you're a pharaoh for us. They didn't see them as a conqueror.
Hmm.
And he practiced the ancient Egyptian mysteries. So some of the names changed with and became, kind of Greek name, the
Hmm.
Greek endings. And so Jehuti, yes, Thoth, who is the enlightened being, um, uh, who is giving us knowledge and wisdom in a practical way for our life here, sacred knowledge.
Right.
That is his purpose. Yeah.
Wow. And is that part of the initiation in the pyramid, or that is later?
No, the initiation in the pyramid is coming with it's Isis who is giving the initiation, because Isis is the bestower of Heka. Heka means, again, the power of creation.
Hmm.
So see, when the Egyptologists started, the first Egyptologists went to Egypt, they had their religious background, their Christian background, and they call these enlightened beings gods and goddesses. They're not really that. They're not what they don't ask for us to worship them and
Right.
things like as in a traditional religion. It's more about they are actually helping us become them again,
Mhm.
becoming,
So they're teachers in many
they're
ways.
teachers.
Yeah.
They're teachers. Absolutely, that is a good word to describe them.
Hmm.
The Isis, the first Egyptologists, they kind of said Heka is magic, and people thought, oh, she's the goddess of magic. And then
Yeah.
by studying more and more, the modern Egyptologists say that Heka is the power of creation. So she's the bestower of that. She's the bestower of raising our vibration, of bringing us into contact and able then for us to channel the power of creation. So the initiation starts with her because she's the path opener.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm going to bring you back to this time period.
Yeah.
You know, and why now? Is there a reason? Is there a spiritual reason for the timing of now?
We are living through times of transition. I mean, there is always change,
Mm-hmm.
but we are now at the time where we are waking up and realizing that the world as it is right now, we're focusing just on the material side, and we need to change things. We are so many people are awakening. There is the next evolutionary step coming in, and these teachings are able to exist again. So Isis says there's been like a bridge built between the ancient time, when the last time these teachings were available was in ancient Egypt. She says after that they were lost.
Mm-hmm.
And even in Egypt, that the last, dynasties, if you like, there was corruption then too. Some of the teachings were being lost there and then. But Egypt lasted for thousands of years. That spiritual school lasted for thousands of years.
Wow.
So it's just so long. That civilization went on for so long. According to Egyptologists, it went for 5,500 years almost. So until Christianity came, but it was much before then. But she said that was the last time, and she said the bridge has been built between that time and our time. So these teachings are available again now, and we can dive into them. And we have, in our part of the world, we have the opportunity, because the knowledge is coming, is there. We can go to Egypt, or we can study the ancient texts, or we can we can do this work. I was able, other people in my community can do that. We have the time. We are not going to be burnt onto a stake for doing
Right.
something alternative.
Not yet, anyway.
Are free. Yeah, we are free to do that, and we have the opportunity to awaken, and that's what the world needs. We need to prepare ourselves for this next step, and we are doing it, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
And it is rising, but it's all different. That's where I talked about it fractured, where you're doing a modality and then somebody else will do a different modality, but all roads are leading to the same place.
Yes, I feel that all roads lead to the same place. And when it came to, to Egypt and the ancient world, even in ancient Greece, there was like, we have this openness. That they had this openness where it said, when it's all contributing. So they didn't say, well, we only believe in the 12 gods, the Greeks. They didn't say that. Say, we will take what is good from Egypt, and we will bring what is good from the East, and we'll take what is good from Sanskrit, and we just want to learn. And in the schools of Athens, and then the school of Alexandria, there was just such a huge richness for people to go deep and study. And you will see here behind me, I have a tanka, because for many years I had a Tibetan Lama of the Yundrung Bon tradition as my teacher, and I learned so much from him that helped me understand what I was getting also from Egypt, because it's the same. It's the same.
Right.
There is so much, but all of these are pieces of the one puzzle, and none of them have the complete picture. So we need to stay open. And that is the beauty of the Western people, that they are open. Well, in some other parts of the world, they might have a tradition, but they say, well, that's our tradition. I'm not going to look into anything else. So that closes a door that might be helpful for you. But in the West, we are saying, okay, let me see what helps me, what serves me, what doesn't serve me, what resonates, what doesn't resonate. And
So that's the upside of being lost.
yes, yeah,
That you're
well,
wide open to anything. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
you see that that collectively, the spirit is coming back into the world, and hopefully will bring enough light to illuminate the darkness.
yeah. I feel, this is the journey, is that the spirit, is like um in about, it's 60, 70 years ago, there's a Greek poet who was very aware,
Mhm.
and he had this vision. He wrote this poem, and in this vision he saw that this light, this spirit, was taken into this really deep darkness. And in the poem it says, it's like the spirit is, by the dark lords. The spirit was caught by the dark lords, and it was placed in a tomb of the sea. You can't have a tomb of the sea, in this underworld, in this hidden. But because the spirit is the spirit, it changed, it transformed the underworld into the spring, into the new spring, into the
Mhm.
new beginning. So I think that's what's happening. We are coming, and a lot of souls, a lot of very beautiful souls are incarnating into a very dark world, and we can see it there. But there's also so much goodness in this human race and in
Mhm.
the human heart. And that is rising from the bottom. So we are transforming this very dark place, this very difficult place,
Right. It's
into
gotten real
the new
dark.
spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, into the new
Right.
spring. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes we have to see it, because the darkness has been here for a long time.
Hmm.
It's now manifesting so clearly, so we can't escape it. The
Right.
corruption had always been there, but a lot of people were blind to it. We were saying,
But
oh,
it
there's
seemed
nothing.
more in balance, more checked. It seemed like it had been checked. Even like in the 50s and 60s, it was there, but it seemed like there was enough goodness to check it. And then it went away. The goodness went away, I guess. I don't quite know what happened to us all. That somehow we chose the dark. And we chose the hate and the racism and the greed. It just, and it's not working out well.
No, no, no. But I think the racism, it has been there for a long time. Even where I am, you can see in the social classes, you can see in some of the um, ways people speak, because they don't realize yet that there's something racist in that. When
Right,
somebody
right.
says, this person is rising above their station, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's racist. Yeah.
that's racist, because
Hmm.
you are thinking people are like, these are people have that station, and I have another station, and I'm better than them just because I was born maybe in a
Right.
more kind of genteel, if you like, or whatever. And then we don't realize that actually that racism, had been there for a long time, and is part of our
It
language.
has, but the hate has not been accepted. I mean, in the 60s, it really was, let's bring everybody to the table. Let's have it all inclusive.
Yeah,
Let's open up our world and our hearts.
yeah,
And boy, a clap shut after that. There was a reaction, and it's gotten worse and worse to this point where it's open hate, really.
yeah,
I mean, racism is just a way of hating,
yeah.
but it's hate. Yeah, it's ugly. It's very ugly. Yeah.
It's very ugly, because in this time, what you have is the groups of people, that are coming together under a certain belief, and they form like a clock, like I'm right. This is my reality. This is
Right, right.
the other. No, this is right. I'm, and you have a group of people. All these different groups of people,
Hmm.
and that is because we have changed into the age of Aquarians, and that Aquarian age has to do with community and groups, but we are manifesting the lower, you could say, consciousness of that age.
Right.
We need to elevate it to the world community, to the and based on the higher consciousness, then we can really create something beautiful, and that is what we are dreaming of. So,
Unfortunately, it seems to have landed on the females you know, to do this. It seems as though it's going to be the female that's going to bring this up. And even the female in the male. I mean, it doesn't have to be the gender, but it's
yeah,
going to be the female side, that is open and will bring this. Like you talked about community. Well, it's the female that goes for community more than the
yes,
male.
yeah,
The
yeah,
density of the energy, male is more dense than female,
yeah.
and it seems to be the female. Do you see that too?
Yes, I think the divine feminine is rising to
Hmm.
come into balance with the masculine and bring the two together, so that the divine masculine can also come into balance.
Hmm.
So we need that. It's really important so
It
that
is. Yeah.
our world, that transformation can take place, and it's wonderful to see sometimes that the men come to support the women to do spiritual work,
Hmm.
and um, I'm taking part in some ceremonies where the women are bringing the energy, and the men then take the energy and amplify it and send it over, because they know that this power of the feminine is what
Hmm.
can heal this
Right.
world now. We need the nurturing mother of love to come, not some sort of guilt, down approach to say you're a bad person, humanity is bad, and
Right.
you have seen all of that difficult thing. We need the nurturing mother to bring the love, the gift of forgiveness, the gift of nourishment, and to say you can be here in this world. This earth is a gift for you, as you are a gift for the earth, and you can live here, and there is abundance. There is so much here for you, and
We
there's
can be
so
the
much
we
love.
rather than the me.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah. We can have the community. We can have the love, really, throughout. Yeah. Well, this is a great place to stop. um, if anybody wants to work with you or being called to work with you, where would they get hold of you? Where can they come?
Yes, thank you, Barb. So the first thing, please read the book,
Yes,
because
and the book is available now.
the book is available. It's available worldwide. Everything I do comes through the IC School of Holistic Health. So the IC School of Holistic Health.com is the website. There
Mhm.
is so much there. We have a newsletter once a month that is free, that you can download with channelings from my helping spirit goddess Isis. There's articles there, and all the courses we do that are coming up are there. There is a lot there. And
Mhm.
videos, podcasts. This podcast will be on the website,
Yeah,
hopefully your
good.
permission as well. Thank you. And there is just, the website is so rich. But if you feel you want to know more, please email us info@isis-school.com, and I answer all the emails.
Great, great. Thanks so much for being on and for sharing all of this information with us. It's quite a bit. It's quite a
Thank,
bit.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being a wonderful host, for all your questions, Barb. It just like brought so much out. And
Thanks. Good.
Thank you so much. And because, it does make a difference. So,
Hmm.
thank
Yeah,
you.
well, we want the people, who listen. Some people will listen for information, but some people, there'll be a response. There'll be a deep recognition of, I need to go here. And those are the people. So I want everybody to hear what's out here and the choices they can make. Yeah, it's great. Thanks so much for being on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barbara. And thank you to everybody who has been listening. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.